Welcome to CBA TV, the voice of East Africa and beyond. My name is Balogun Arishekola Aziz, your regular host on your dialing program, Talk to CBA. Talk to CBA is designed to, discuss with different caliber of people on happenings around us. And on today's episode, I will be discussing with Abdisalam Habib. Abdisalam Habib is a teacher, an author, and a humanitarian activist who is based in Somalia. On this program today, we will be discussing extensively on educational system in Somalia and also happenings in a particular district, which is Wajid district, which situated in Bakau region of Somalia. Welcome to the show. Abdisalam, thank you for joining us on this program. I want you to tell our viewers at home brief history about yourself so that my viewers will know the type of person I'm dealing with on the program today.
Yeah, very good. Thank you very much, Mr. Balogun Aziz, for the interview that you are having with me. And also, I thank to CBA team for working for the people who are living in Horn of Africa, East Africa. Thank you for the broadcasting service that you are delivering for the East African people. Second, my name is Abdisalam. Let me give an introduction to the viewers. I am called Abdisalam. My full name is Abdisalam Mahmoud Habib. I'm from Somalia. I am a high school teacher and humanitarian activist born in Mogadishu. For the past 3 to 4 years, I've been a senior high school teacher, and also I worked with different humanitarian agencies in Mogadishu. So it pleases me, to attend this, debate and talk to CBA. And I thank you very much for this. That's, I think, a short, brief, biography of myself.
Thank you, Abdisalam. Firstly, I would like to start this way. We all know that education is the best legacy for every children. And when you are talking, you made my viewers to understand that you are a teacher. I want you to, tell us what is the situation of Somali education. I mean, the education situation in Somalia, especially for the young children of Somalia.
Thank you very much, Asa. When we are talking about the education in Somalia, as you know, in general, when we are talking about the education is a fundamental right according to UNESCO, and every person in the world has the right to learn something. If I come to Somalia, Somalia, we have to divide it. When we are talking about the education system of Somalia, we have to divide because, we have to divide it into 3 parties. A time that, there was no governance in the country, and also the time before the colonial period, and also in the colonial period, and also after the independence, and another time which becomes, after, the civil war broke out in the country. Let me start, from before the colonial period. The education of Somalia was quite, it was quite bad. A lot of people believe that, learning in schools have been quite, untakeable and unacceptable, because they believe that, learning in schools is quite, misleading the children. They believe that, every child has to learn only a Holy Quranic school. So when we are talking about before the colonial period, people did not used to believe going to schools. They believe a bad thing about that. But, in 1939, the first school has been opened in Sheikh in Somaliland. It was the first ever school that has been opened in the country. So that was the perception of the Somali people before the colonial period at the side of, education. When we come to after the independence in 1960, the education system of the country seemed quite recovering, and a lot of schools have been built. The education system has been set up. After that, in 1969, the regime of Siad Barre has made a lot of, developments at the side of, education. It was in 1972 to 4, the time when, the Somali script has been written. So the best time that the education of Somalia has made a development was at the era of Siad Barre after the civil war. That was the disaster that the education system has met with. After the civil war took place in the country in 1991, the Somali people, especially the Somali young children, could not receive education because there was no governance institution, there was no Ministry of Education. So, self-established scholars have opened schools for your young children, the young sons and daughters at that time. So self-established umbrellas like FPens, like SOF, and many others who have been established later have stood up for teaching, these Somali children. But when you see, we are talking about in general the challenges that the Somali education is facing at the moment, we can say that there is no inclusive education in the country. There are some clans who don't get the right to learn something. There are a lot of people who are not going to schools. And when you look at the percentage of the Somalis who learn or who go to school, is really less than any other country in Africa.
It's so unfortunate, coming from that background, because you actually, take us to a history lane of Somalia education. But now, based on what you said, the situation of education these days, or I mean presently, is not, encouraging. As a teacher and, an author, what do you think Somalia government can do to uplift the status of education in that country, especially these young kids are very key when it comes to education. What do you think government can do to assist them to get a very good and sound education?
Yeah, this is a very important question. The solution to these challenges is that just receiving a government, a fair government that's elected by the Somali people, a government that works towards education. Because one of the best or the most important services that a government offers is the education. If the government does not have the ability to educate its citizens, that's quite something that's worrying. So the government has the biggest responsibility of offering this. Although our government is doing a lot to opening a lot of schools, we are now I urge the government to keep striving, opening schools and letting citizens to go to schools and learn something.
That's very good suggestion, and I believe by the grace of God, government will take note of that. This will take me to another question. When you are telling us about yourself, you made us to understand that you are a writer, an author of many books, like you said. I just want you to tell my viewers at home what prompts you to choose writing as your own line in life, and also to tell us the number of books that you have been able to put together, like that you have published since you started this job of writing.
This is a very important question. Becoming a writer, as you are a young aged person, is not something easy. I am a writer, yes, as you told. There is a story, behind me to be a writer. There is a story. If we have the time, I would like to mention this story. This story happened in Mogadishu, with me, and when I was, when I was in the last class of the secondary school. We have been, preparing at that time for the secondary final exams together with some of my friends. Me and my friend at that time were preparing, the exam as a group reading. Then a man came to us, an older man came to us by asking us, by saying, really, it's my pleasure to see young children, young Somali children who are learning something and, putting the efforts in learning something. Then he sat with us. He started telling us a lot of things about how our country used to be. He made us love our country. He told me a lot of things about the history of the country. He told me that this country once used to be the lion of Africa. He told us really a lot of things that I can't, conclude or, summarize in this interview. So when I've gone back to the home, I couldn't realize that I couldn't even sleep for the sake of, the love that I have for the country. I couldn't sleep. And then I said to myself, like those people exist. People who have a lot of things in their minds, but who are not writing something. For example, if that man, he's an, or there is a Rama that, the African people say, Somalis are oral society. So, we just speak. So I want people to write something in order, the next generation to be benefitful of, of the knowledge that. So that was, the reason that prompted me to be a writer. Since then, I have written about 4 books. So that was the story that was behind. When you write something, that will be, a heritage for the next generation. But when you just speak, when you're just an oral person, it's quite, boring, and it's not good for the people. So that's why, which prompted me to be a writer.
That's a very wonderful one, and thank you, Absalam, for giving us that details. And now on a very quick one, based on what you told me, and when I was checking, there is one of your book, I mean a particular one that you tagged Wajid is suffering. That name actually catched my attention. I want to know, what do you mean by Wajid? We understand is a district in Somalia. Suffering, it's another thing else. Can you explore the content of this particular book with my viewers at home?
Thank you, Aziz. As you said, there is, an article or a book that I have written to this district called Wajid. But let me briefly tell, the story of Wajid. Wajid is one of the cities, most important cities in the country. And also it's an ancient town in Bakol region. It's about 100 kilometers to Hudur, which is the capital city of Bakol region. So Wajid is suffering when I say so. I have felt that there is a big problem in that district. Really, it's a district that its streets are blockaded by, the warring sides, and that district is really suffering. There is educational problem. There are problems on the side of health. There are problems on the side of education. So in that book, or in that article, I have talked about a lot of things. You can understand a city where people live that has no streets, that has no any health facilities. There is, for example, when we are talking about the education, there are no schools in the city. There are no schools in the city. People are starving. They have no any place that they can get, food from, only through airplane. You can understand, the cost of an airplane when something is being taken to, so this district is suffering. At the side of education, one of the most wonderful things that I found is, when I was, collecting the data about, that district, I have been told by one of the, people that I have interviewed, who is called Zakaria Ali Hassan, who is originally from that district. He told me that the children who are there do not get the education. He also told me that there are no forms. There is only one school in the district, and that school does not have chairs and forms together with blackboards. Students sit on the floor in order to study something. So, like those challenges exist. When we are talking about the health sector, of the district, it's suffering. There are no hospitals. So that's why, which prompted me to write something about the district. And I hope that the Somali government, together with any other administration, will help that district.
Abdusalam, next we'll be discussing about the earths, because you made mention of people's earths in that part of Somalia. But before we do that, we'll go on a short break now. When we come back, we'll be talking, extensively about the earth system of Wajid district of Somalia. We'll be right back. Welcome back. If you are just joining us, this is CBA TV, the voice of East Africa and beyond. And this is your lovely program, Talk to CBA. On this episode, I'm still with Abdusalam Habib, all the way from Somalia. Now, I want you to tell us extensively, because you made mention of the status of the people of that part of Somalia. Can you tell us if there is any government health facility in that area and the status of that facility in general? What is the situation of the health facility in that part of Somalia? I mean, Wajid district of Somalia.
That's right. When we are talking about the health facilities of the district, really it's quite bad. Health is one of the important basic needs of human being, as you know. So if the person does not have health, he cannot, or he or she cannot reach any progress. So that the district, one is used to be a very important health district for not only for the residents, but also for Somali people in the era of Siad Barre, because there was a big hospital in the district which was the only hospital that cures TB in Somalia. It's the TB hospital in Wajid. But sorry, unfortunately, that hospital has been distracted and it's now a military camp for Ethiopian troops who are there. You can understand. The only hospital that the district has had, which is now a military camp. So there are no other hospitals. That hospital, one is used to be the only TB hospital in Somalia. So those problems exist. Any government institutions and the non-governmental organizations, I urge them to visit and open hospitals there. There are other cities that they always go to who are not suffering. Please go to Wajid and help those people who have no any healthy facilities.
Wow. Actually, my mood, actually changed, because, when people are, deprived of what's supposed to be like basic things that they will get, is somehow. And now this will take me to a very barbaric event that took place in that region, recently, where a family of 8 people, a whole family of 8 people was massacred. What can you tell my viewers? Like, can you just, put light to what happened, how it happened, in that area where people were just killed like that? How did this happen?
The problems that the district of Wajid is facing is not only the health and the education sector. There is a problem on the side of the security sector that exists in Wajid district. As you mentioned, a family consisting of 8 people have been attacked and massacred in the district just within this week. So this family have been attacked in a midnight. They have been attacked in a midnight by unknown gangs. They have killed all the people, all the family, which consisted of 8 people, all of them, and they have not been classified as women or children. There are some parts of the people who are called vulnerable societies. Women and children should be omitted, and it's forbidden for them to be killed. They have been killed and massacred, including women and young children. So this incident happened there. Now we still don't know the reason, but there is an investigation being done by government officials in order to know who was behind this attack, whether it was a clan-based one or whether it's a politically motivated one. So this is one of the challenges that Wajid is facing in terms of security.
Wow, that's sad, my man. Actually, when unknown people just came in and kills a whole family like that, it's a very serious thing. But can you now let us know what that has happened aftermath of that massacre? What are the steps that government have put in place? What are the things the apparatus put in place to to find out why and who are these perpetrators, and to prevent such occurrence in the nearest future?
That's a very important thing. First, the district does not have a strong security, sector, strong police forces. But the only responsibility lies on the federal government. I have been told by some people that there is a ministry, the Minister of Justice, who has visited there and who is waging an investigation on why and who and how things happen. They are being investigated according to some officials that I have spoken in the government. I've been told that Minister Chama, who is the Minister of Justice for the federal government of Somalia, is there to investigate. So let's see what comes out of that investigation.
Actually, may their soul rest in peace. And Abdisalan, as an humanitarian activist, based in Somalia, which I believe you want to be voice for the voiceless, if you have opportunity to meet the president of Somalia, I mean the person of Abdullahi Farmajo, if you have grace of meeting him and you are to plead to him on behalf of the people of Wajir district, what will you tell the president?
If I had received this chance to meet with the president, well, it's not easy to meet with President Formaggio, but if I had received this chance, or if he or other officials of the government can hear this interview that I have given to CBA, I call them, please. This is a responsibility that you have taken from these people when you were, campaigning for the election. Your people are suffering. Your citizens are suffering. Please try to do this for this district of Wajid. It's a suffering city. Dear President, this is a responsibility that you have taken to support the vulnerable people in Wajid district. So I call everyone in a loud voice, no matter whether they are in the government, no matter whether they are the non-governmental organizations, no matter whether they are any other thing, any even the world agencies, international agencies. I call them, visit there, visit Wajid, and see what exists to make a difference in the challenge that the district is really facing. Wajid needs your support. Thank you.
We really appreciate you so much for talking to CBA. And to my viewers at home, this is where we will be drawing the curtain of this program. I still remain your host, Balogun Arishekola Aziz, and you are watching CBA TV, the voice of East Africa and beyond. Until I come your way next time, same station, same time. Thank you for watching CBA. Bye for now.